Welcome to Campfire Conversations from Exploring Through Our Lens. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patti Hunt, at the far end here. And tonight, we're going to talk to some really cool full-timers.
Let's introduce Sean and Lindsay. They are full-time RVers with 3 kids, and they're from Southern California. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
So let's just start off with, you know, we're camped right next door to each other here, and we are at a Thousand Trails property. We're big, we love Thousand Trails. But let's talk a little bit about the thought process of going on the road. And I know that you guys had kind of a false start and then you kind of came back. So talk a little bit about that.
You can take that one.
Yes. All right.
So yes, 3 years ago, almost to the day, we closed on our house, sold our first one and only house that we bought together, and moved into a travel trailer at the time. It was a 27-foot travel trailer. Knowing we were going to go larger, we just had to get out of the house. So that was the step one. Going through the flashbacks of it all, it was, of course, very emotional. Letting go of a lot of things, ruffling the little feathers of the children. But in hindsight, we knew it was the right thing. The kids, later on down the road, after our false start, actually told us that they had missed life in a trailer, and we couldn't believe it. We thought that was kind of like our aha moment, saying, should we have kept with it? COVID shut us down. We were month to month at our local Thousand Trails in Menifee at Wilderness Lakes. Kind of became our home, and with COVID, it made it too hard to not know what was going to happen in a month or 2 months or 5 months. We were still doing school locally. I was working, Sean was working out of the trailer, and although at that time we were in a larger fifth wheel, larger than we have now, we were pushed to our limits. So we called it quits, rented a house, and sold that trailer.
We should be fair. So our new truck that we had purchased to tow this larger fifth wheel turned out to be a lemon. And ended up in the shop more days than I actually ever got the chance to drive it.
We had a lot of things thrown at us against us that time.
And on top of it, the used trailer we bought ended up having a structural issue in the ceiling, causing it to dip in, and water was pouring in where our slide popped out. So
we had a lot of hiccups.
So this first trial of going full-time in a trailer, pretty much everything went wrong.
It did.
It was a mess. The truck, the trailer was a problem. Okay, so fast forward, COVID now, things are a little more settled, and you decide, let's do this again.
I want to hear that conversation.
Yeah.
I've got to hear that conversation.
So it started out with, we moved into the rental house, and we were like, we still wanted to travel because it's always kind of been in it. So with her schedule at school, we were able to make it to work where we could go out over the summer for a month at a time. So that very first summer, we bought a small trailer and that Jeep Gladiator, and we went up the California coast, we went up the Oregon coast, and came back down. And then the next summer, we did another month-long trip where we went into Tetons, Yellowstone, Montana, Idaho, and
wonderful.
So it never quite left us. So here we are. We're in this rental house, and they just hit us with, we're gonna increase your rent by $400 a month to renew the lease, something around that. We're like,
It's time.
It's time
we already had now our current trailer. We bought that trailer last spring break. It was spring break. We found it in Utah, and we knew it was a better size and fit for us, so we took spring break as that opportunity. And just through that, even every time we'd be on those long trips, we just missed it. Life is simple in a tiny house.
We always found ourselves coming back from those trips going, wow, I really didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
I could have just kept going.
Oh.
I like it out there. I like exploring new cities, new areas, seeing things.
And the kids were active. They were engaged with us and each other. We weren't so separated, and that really just solidified.
Yeah.
It was time. We knew we wanted to still try, but it was
Right.
hard to say yes. And I think every little couple months would come around, we'd circle back and say, did you try? And then when the kids said to us about 3 months in, living back in the house, that they had missed it, I think that's what,
That just knocked it over to the other side.
yeah. And they had said, I think I'm ready to travel. And we just had to run with it. We knew if we don't now, this opportunity may not happen.
Right. Now, how old are the kids? So people have an idea. Questions we get asked all the time.
So our youngest is 9, almost 10. Our middle boy is 12, and our oldest is 13.
So, and this gives our viewers kind of an idea, because we get asked all the time, how do you know as a family with kids? Will the kids like it? What will they, all of those questions. So you kind of went through the gamut of things that come up during this big decision.
We did. And the kids always enjoyed going to these places that we went to. And then we'd get back to a house and we'd be in our separate spaces, watching TV separately. It was like a fight if we wanted to try to go out for a hike. Not anymore.
Right.
It's great.
So I just want to, full disclosure, there are 4 full-time campers here. And normally, Campfire Conversations we do at what we call in the TV industry or movie industry, the magic hour. We missed the magic hour tonight because between the 4 of us, we could not get this fire started. But, you know, I think a group effort, Sean, and a little bit of lighter fluid.
Little help.
We got this thing going, and we are rocking and rolling. So, your start was very different. Like the 2 of you were on the same page from where Patti and I were. You know, I had an idea when I couldn't work anymore during COVID. I said, let's sell everything.
And I laughed.
And she laughed at it.
Everybody knows the story. Yeah.
So you didn't have that kind of conversation. But, I have to say, you have the best dog in the world. Talk about how did Merlot, and not only is it the best dog in the world, its name is Merlot. I mean, how could it get any better than that?
She's a sweetheart. So she is doing really good. She does struggle. When we're in places that have shooting or fireworks and thunder, and so we just have to baby her more and know that those are little hiccups we have with the dog. Other than that, she has been doing so good. We do have to alter our plans for the day sometimes where we can't be gone for a full day. We have to either plan to board her, drop her off, take fellow neighbors out to babysit, or she goes with us. And there are plenty of places we have found that do allow dogs. We just have to do some research. Maybe we can't all go into the visitor center at the same time, but it works. We make it work.
You know, you had something, and you and Patti were talking about it. It's a vest that you put on the dog, and I'm going to try to get some shots of that. We'll just edit it in.
Yes.
But tell me about the vest and how it's helped.
So I bought her the Thunder Coat. It is a Velcroed jacket that goes around the chest and hugs the belly. And basically it's a security jacket. And I heard about these for the last several years, knowing that since we adopted her, she's terrified of fireworks. And where we were at home, people loved fireworks. And we had, across our journey up to Michigan, we had so much thunder, severe thunder like we've never experienced before. And she was just a nervous Nelly. So finally we were up in Michigan, and I looked at Sean, I said, I have to go buy this. I don't know if it's gimmicky. I got to give it a try. And sure enough, that night I think it was, there was thunder, and I put it on her. She looked at me, did a couple little pants, and then just laid down. I was shocked. Ever since, the thing goes on her religiously. The minute we arrived here, we are near, I don't know if it's a
gun range.
shooting
club,
range,
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So instantly I knew, let's pop that side out, go grab the jacket, put her on her. She was pretty calm within minutes.
Yeah, we had an episode before we bought it. We were in Indiana, and I woke up in the middle of the night because I heard the thunder. I went to check on her. She was in the far back bunk room, and she managed to wedge herself into one of our cubbies.
Oh,
And she was poor thing was cowering in the cubby because she was so scared. So
We know a Rottweiler that could
Yeah.
use this. So New Year's Eve, we're in Las Vegas. I'm bringing steaks out to put on the grill. It was New Year's Eve night. That was our celebration. And a Rottweiler comes running at me. And then that instant you decide, do I run? Do I throw the steak? And then I realized this dog was scared to death because there was fireworks.
yeah.
Scared to death.
Terrified.
I'm trying to kind of calm him. He insisted on getting in the RV, and he stayed there for 2
Hours,
hours
yeah.
till somebody
Wow.
came.
Just curled up in
So he
front of the
could-
refrigerator
Yeah.
and just like in a
Yeah.
little corner and just,
So
I mean,
he could probably use
150
this
pound
back.
dog.
Yeah,
He needs
definitely.
it. Yes, it's definitely been a lifesaver because I feel so bad for her, and then it gets us mad at each other because the dog's not settled down, and it just adds more chaos than we need. And now we put it on her. I used to get up the moment I'd hear thunder, run down, sleep on the couch with her. Now I'll check, and she's still sleeping, and I can go back to my own
That's
bed.
great.
It's been great.
We're going to share that with the community. Put a link
Now-
for it in the.
full disclosure,
Yeah.
none of us are affiliates or
Yeah,
anything like
no,
that of
just
that.
wanna
It's just a product that
share
works.
Yes.
Great.
And you know, our pets are as much a part of our family as our kids are,
Yes.
at least
Yes.
in our side of the
Yes.
world. So let's talk about, you know, we met in a campground, and you know, you said something to me yesterday when we were talking that just really hit us. Patti and I are public speakers, and we travel around and speak motivational. But one of the things that you said is like one of the topics of one of our speeches. You said you were going to Costco. That's not the topic of our speech, but you were going for some me time. So talk about how important me time is.
So it is important. We don't get it often. I've never been one that needs it. Neither of us are. But there's still those moments where we are living in 290 square feet together with 6 with the dog, all doing school and work around the clock life. And I needed to go shopping. I knew we had a Costco near. I knew I needed to get to Costco, but I did not want to take my children with me because I will forget probably the 10 most important items. I thought we'll leave him. He offered to come with me to give me company, and I don't know if I made a comment or what, but you decided, nope, actually you go. I'll stay here, that way you can have your time alone. And it is important. It just gives you that opportunity. I love driving in the car, put my own music on. I don't have the interruptions. You can think clear to yourself. You're not constantly interrupted. And it just gives you that little moment to kind of rejuvenate yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important and something I talk about because Dan and I had 5 kids between us and
9
there's
grandkids.
9 grandkids, and there's always somebody around, and it's wonderful. But there are times it's like, all right, I need my own time. Now Dan and I have a routine where I make us cappuccino in the morning, but I will either go back in the bedroom or I'll stay out here and he goes in the bedroom. And I try and do that almost every day to have my me time, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour. And as a parent, when my kids were little, I used to feel guilty about it. And I'm glad to see that there are parents, you know, today that say, no, I need it and it's my time, and you recognize it. And I think it's great, and I think it's so important.
I think it's we're getting a lot of smoke from this fire here, but I think it's important that we as full-timers talk to the people that are new or just starting or thinking about starting. I think establishing some of those patterns of things that we need as adults or they need as kids, all you know, establishing those and just incorporating them into your routine.
And I think touching on that, it's still important to give each of your children a little one-on-one time because they don't get that often, and they didn't even have it beforehand. There were very few moments where we would be able to just take one child and go do something together, have a little bit of bonding time.
It'd be when we're driving in the sports usually.
Yeah.
We'd have that time in the car together with them.
So
but that was usually about it.
Uh-huh. And so
now your oldest is going to be driving that thing in a couple
my
of years. You're going to
goodness.
sit in the back seat. And
great.
They're not ready for this, clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, we
Yes.
got a little time.
Yeah.
Little bit of
but-
Sean, let's talk a little bit about one of the things or one of the questions that I get asked. It's like, what about your friends? It's like, you and I met, I think, the first day you pulled in, and we kind of started talking about stuff, and we've talked almost every day. As a matter of fact, one day, like 3 or 4 other people, men came and kind of joined the conversation. Do you miss that camaraderie of having the guys, having a poker night, having a whatever it is for whoever?
Yeah, I mean, there's times where I miss getting together with friends and watching, baseball or football. Those moments come up, but for the most part, not really. But that might be more me,
Right.
because I mean, even when we were in a house and we were around all the friends, it didn't happen all that often. We were usually, weekends were when that's my time off. That's when they were off from school, so we try to spend time together.
Right. Yeah, no offense to the guys that play golf, but I used to play golf, but I just can't figure it out. It's like, why on Saturday when I'm off work am I going to leave and be gone for 6 hours? It just didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Everybody needs to find what their alone time is and how it works. And again, us remembering back when kids were little and going all week and then having the weekend. And then there is the shopping and the cleaning and all that stuff. So this is a way more simple life.
Shopping, I find interesting. I enjoy shopping with this lifestyle because everywhere you go is a different grocery store.
Yeah.
And
It's been
different types
fun.
of foods and cuisines from the area. So it's in products. So to me, it's fun.
Yeah, it has been fun, and it's interesting seeing what you can and cannot buy in different areas, or of course what's more expensive in different areas. For a while there, gosh, we were at home. We were so used to our routine. I shop at Sprouts, Costco, and a time or two at Trader Joe's out of the whole month, and that was my routine. And now we were able to continue with Costco up until we got to Ohio. After Ohio, then we did New York and Maine and Massachusetts up till we got here. And for that last month and a half, our route just didn't hit a Costco. So I had to make do.
Yes, you big
I
do.
just-
Oh my God!
It
Well.
really is tough. We can relate.
And cooking for 5 of us, we have our few bulk staple items that we still do make space for. But so we found other stores though that were really cool, and every state we'll go into, we'll kind of pick our top store that was the coolest, something different. He was obsessed with Market Basket.
Market Basket.
In Maine and Massachusetts.
Market
Oh my
Basket.
gosh.
Market Basket in Maine, yeah.
It's
up in the
amazing.
In
Northeast, yeah.
Maine and
Loved it.
Massachusetts.
Kind
Kind of like
Amazing.
Wigmans of around here.
Amazing.
okay.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, not only so we stayed a night in a Cabela's, and there just happened to be a Market Basket in there. So we went down this Market Basket, and lo and behold, they had this deli and hot foods. We got a cheese pizza for what, $9 from there.
Yeah.
I said, well,
Right?
well, can you just box that up? He's like, yeah. it was
Delicious,
brand new out of that.
delicious $9 cheese pizza, and the boys were able to get a hamburger and fries and
It was
something else.
good.
But then we went back and we went shopping there afterwards, and
Yeah.
the selection was amazing.
Prices, selection.
I'm still talking about Market Basket like
Market
weeks later.
Basket. There's a plug for
There
that.
you go.
Market Basket.
Oh my gosh.
Not meant to plug them, but amazing.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Have you ever gone into a store like up in Oregon or Washington without bringing your own bag? Is that what you do?
They're from California, so that's been
Yeah.
a thing for a while, right?
So packing for this trip to take on this journey, I wasn't going to bring bags originally, and then when we started talking, I said, wait a minute, I don't know what the state rules are. Let's
And they're
go ahead
changing.
And they
Yeah.
are changing, yes. And we didn't know, so we packed, I think, 3 or 4 bags with us. They just stay under the seat in the back of the truck. And sure enough, once we got into New York, we learned
yes.
that they charge, and so we bring them out now.
And we're in Pennsylvania right now, and as we speak, they're weeding the bags out. Now, I do the same thing. I put the bags in the car. I just don't take them
I
in
know.
with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
stay
We
in
just
the
leave them in the car.
That's-
It's a habit,
So
yeah.
that's a little bit of a problem.
You know,
It's
we're
hard.
very lucky though that Patty's sister Fern, hi Fern, this is a shout out to Fern, but she loves these shopping bags. Every time she goes to the store, she buys another one.
Yeah,
So we go visit her mom and her sister, and
We just get
there's
shopping
like
bags.
30 of them there. And we've got your shopping bags, Fern.
Yes, we're using that. Now, here's a big question that I get asked all the time. Where do you get your hair done?
Ooh, that's fun. So
Oh, that's fun.
that's fun. I have had my hair done by the same person for the last 20 years.
Me too.
Yeah, and that was kind of scary. And at first he said, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna fly home to get your hair done every 3 months?" I said, "No." He couldn't believe it that I was gonna just go to a stranger. So sure enough, though, approved. I did, and we were in Watkins Glen, New York. Amazing little town. We all were due for haircuts. So due. The boys were shaggy. It was bad, and so I just picked out of, I think, Google reviews, one out of the 3 options with like in a 20-mile radius, and I called one, and they were the closest downtown, right from where we were camped at, and they called me back and said, "I can get you in at 2 o'clock." Both Sidney and myself went in, and now it was a fantastic haircut. I was shocked. I was so happy. I was able to talk with them. They gave us great suggestions for the local area. So it opened up an opportunity to have conversations with new people,
Yeah.
Right.
learn about the local area, and I liked my haircut.
This is the
I was
one thing
happy.
I've not been able to be brave with. This has been an issue for me.
Yeah.
So we are flying to Las Vegas next week, and I have a hairdresser
Yes.
there and a hairdresser in Pennsylvania. So
Yes.
I'm still, that still scares me. But people ask all the time. So there's an answer. I tend to have hairdressers on both coasts. It's working for now for me, but yeah.
I'm
that's-
sure when we make our way back to our home area, I will be making an appointment as soon as I know my landing date.
Right.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the gadgets that we like, okay? So, Sean, I'll start with you. And you and I were
Yeah.
talking the other day.
Yes, we were.
And you showed me a gadget, and I'm like, I just talked to that company. They're going to sponsor our podcast, or we're talking to them about sponsoring our podcast. So tell me about that little gadget that you have right there.
So this is a clear 2.0 inline water filter, which it's amazing because it filters at 1 micron. So kind of as we were discussing earlier, you go on Amazon, there's all sorts of these inline filters, but none of them want to disclose what they filter at, what the micron level is. And to me, being that we use this water not only to shower, cook, and drink, I wanted the best filtration possible.
I'm sorry, I'm dying.
Live YouTube is, just a little bit different.
Hey,
So the
you know
smoke is kind of coming right at us where
Yes,
we are.
it is.
It was going that way before. I thought it was going to get the camera, but
Okay.
just blow it away, Patty. We'll be fine. Okay, going back with the mic.
Yeah, so I was using some other ones off Amazon, which we discussed, which I was paying. They were 5 micron filters, and I was paying $33 for 2 of them. And they were only rated at 1 month each.
Right.
This one I found, which is rated at 1 micron, $33 depending on when you buy it. It's rated actually. I looked this up. I thought it was 3 months. It's actually rated for 6 months of use.
For
Wow.
6 months of use, and
6
it's about $30 to $40,
Yeah, roughly.
and you can get them on Amazon.
Yes, you can get on
'Cause
my
our
Amazon.
neighbor on this side walked over this morning and said, "Do you know anything about that? That green thing down there?" So it's interesting. Now
I know what
you
that is.
you
Oh,
even
okay,
do
go ahead.
well. Wait, before we get to that,
Yeah.
you go one more step because you built another one inside your rig.
Yeah, so our camper didn't come with any type of filtration built into it from the factory. So I was able to, I had enough space to add a 10-inch canister is what it is essentially. So I added a canister, and I'm using Blue Technology filters in there, and that's a 0.2 micron.
0.2.
Yes.
So you have basically Aquafina inside.
So can I just, for people, because I didn't know anything about this, the lower the number, 0.2, the better. So just let's
Yes,
tell our
correct.
audience
Yes,
that because,
the better filtration.
yeah, okay. So
All
what
right.
is this?
Now Patty's got
I knew
another.
what that was, but what is this?
So this is a water pressure regulator, and this was actually a great find. So up until using this one, I was using one of the brass. It has a gauge on it. It's adjustable. You can set what PSI you want. Well, I didn't realize that those type of gauges actually limit the flow.
Right.
So I found this. This one automatically sets the PSI for you at 47, and it allows the flow up to 18 gallons per minute.
And you can take a shower.
I thought it was going to be gimmicky. I got to be honest when
Right.
I bought it. But for $40, I thought I'd try it because our water pressure in the shower wasn't very good before this. We put it in. I was surprised. So this has been this is one of my favorite gadgets.
And you and Patti will work it out because we got to find the link for that so Patti can put it in the description of this video.
Definitely.
Okay,
Again,
so
we're not affiliates, just sharing some products that work.
okay,
definitely.
Now you and I do the cooking.
Yes,
Okay. So I think your favorite product is something to do with cooking.
absolutely.
Tell me about that.
So I would have to say my favorite is the Ninja Foodie. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. The Ninja air fryer. I don't have the Foodie. I went back and forth. I wasn't sure which one to get, and we're limited on space. So I had to go with something that measured the proper size. So I picked, there's only one spot in this trailer that it would fit in. So I went with the Ninja air fryer, and it has saved us
Yes.
time. Quick meals are important for hungry little kids. And when they say they're hungry at 12, we can have chicken nuggets and french fries out within 20 minutes. It's been a lifesaver. I've been able to play around with it, and right now our oven is on the fritz, so we haven't had an oven that I can rely on for the last 3 months.
July.
Yeah, so it's been a while. And I fully cook in this trailer. I haven't simplified our meals.
No.
Pretty much. And so having that back in our trailer now, I can use that in lieu of an oven. We make, actually, I was telling Patti about one of our favorite meals to make is a grilled cheese sandwich and an air fryer. And who would have thought?
She's a cheap date, a grilled cheese sandwich.
Who would have thought? I've made grilled cheese sandwiches. We've made a meatloaf. We've cooked chicken breast in it. I've cooked a, what was it? I think a roast, like round, whatever. Every item I brought out has turned out really good. So I have to say the Ninja air fryer is my favorite.
Now we have the Ninja Foodie,
Uh-huh.
and that just means it has the air fryer, but it has everything else in it. Since we moved into this RV almost 2 years ago, we've not had an oven at all. So I have the convection microwave, which I do sometimes, but that Ninja Foodie has been, I'll give you my recipe for Parmesan crusted chicken.
Oh my God, it's so
it's
good.
amazing. And you're not using oil, so not as
Right.
fattening.
Yeah.
Really great. We'll share some recipes.
Yeah.
Okay, Patti, let's talk to you. What's your favorite thing that we put on the RV?
That is the cappuccino machine. Absolutely. It's the full-size cappuccino machine. It grinds the beans. It steams the milk. It is a work in progress. And when we were looking at RVs, if I walked in and the cabinets above were low and it wouldn't fit, I'd be like, okay, this isn't going to work. There is a little island kind of thing where that cappuccino machine sits unless we're moving, and then it is secured in the sink. Absolutely my favorite.
We actually passed on a National Tropical because the cappuccino, everything else had fit every other need that we had, but the cappuccino machine wouldn't fit. So guess what?
Yeah.
We passed.
We're out.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna
go.
jump into the conversation, and I'm gonna say that my favorite thing is something that I just recently got, and you actually have been helping me over the last couple days because we've been making some modifications, and that's the StarLink. Being a YouTube channel, having a podcast, internet is really, really important to Patti and I. So we went from a Pep Wave, which we still have, and that's our backup unit, and we have a card. I think you have the AT&T card, right?
I have, yes. That's one of
one
in my arsenal. Yes.
One in your arsenal.
Yes.
We just have the T-Mobile one in our arsenal, and we're fairly happy with that. But it's not really good enough to put a 4K video that's 30 minutes long. It just can't handle that. So you and I put the flagpole. We bought a flagpole at Harbor Freight. Again, all these products we're talking about, we're not affiliates of any of them.
I'd like to be affiliated.
But then we did some modifications.
Yeah, bring me in.
Yeah, we did some modifications, and we've got that thing 30 feet up in the air up there, so it looks pretty good. And you're looking at you're going to school on my.
Yeah,
on
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes around everyone I talk to. So.
Yes. We've talked with a lot of people and a lot rave about it, but then there'll be some that say, based on where they've been camping, it didn't work in their favor.
Yeah.
So
Right. Well, so far I'm pretty happy. I've been having a little bit of sketchy problems here, but we are literally in the middle of a forest here.
Yeah.
Now getting that thing that far up in the air, I had a beautiful signal this morning, and everything worked just fine. So let's talk just for a second about our favorites and our not so favorite places. So
places. Okay.
Sean, you go first.
Places like we were talking at campgrounds.
Yeah.
or
Well,
we talking-
what's your best experience?
Ooh,
Gosh.
I know
I'll
so
go-
many.
so-
Hard.
I'll go with. Yeah, I can go with favorite first. So definitely Michigan.
Michigan.
Yes. It was kind of our goal to begin with, starting out for this first leg of our trip.
Wait. You said
Summer in Michigan.
Yes.
Summer.
Michigan in summer.
Summertime.
What's to go to Michigan in summer?
Yes.
Here's a man from Southern California,
This is
and he
true.
says his favorite place in the whole United States is Michigan. Sorry, Michigan. It's just I spent a lot of time in Michigan, and I don't know.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Michigan. I enjoyed the people, the water, the beaches. Yes,
Yeah.
I enjoyed
The history.
Michigan. History.
I
history
did
there.
not realize what history lied in Michigan, and taking the kids to Fort Mackinac and the Silver Sides submarine. Fantastic.
Yes.
It really, really grew on us.
Okay.
Okay.
I would have put that on my
Yeah.
bucket.
So Michigan,
Fantastic.
if you haven't been there, you heard it here first. Michigan is the place to go. Now I gotta go. You shamed me into it. All right, so we have a couple places that we won't be going back to. Can you talk to us about what that is?
Oh, definitely. Yukon trails in Wisconsin. I can,
Can you say that?
Yeah, we
say that.
Yeah, you could
We
say
can
it.
say that.
Unfortunately, Yukon
just
trails in
wasn't
Wisconsin.
you.
It was not for us. Not to
It-
take away from the campground or the people there. It was not for us. It was tight.
Yes, our assigned site when we pulled in the rain,
It was underwater.
office was already closed at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I can't recall. They did call to confirm we were coming in. Okay, your tag and everything's at the late check-in. All right, no problem. Go to our assigned site and flip in this trailer. It was like threading through trees. It was really snug, and we couldn't even get it to go onto our assigned site, which was underwater on top of it. Luckily, though, they were really, really helpful.
accommodating, yes, they were.
We went over, called the after hours number. The gentleman on the phone said, "I'm so sorry, Lindsay. You go pick whatever open site is there. You're the last one to check in anyhow. So whatever works, we'll figure it out tomorrow." So it really worked out. The site we picked turned out to be really nice. It just wasn't for us.
Now, your son told me earlier today that Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Tell me about your experience at Mount Rushmore.
It's impressive. the detail was more than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
When we walked into and we got close, I was just blown away. I was blown away with the detail. I wasn't expecting to be as detailed as it was.
Right. Even though you've seen pictures of it
Yes,
your whole
yes.
life,
Seen
when
pictures
you're
all my whole life.
standing there at that, I call it a balcony, but it's like that ridge
Yeah.
out that goes to it. You almost your heart beats different.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't it?
It
It's
is
just such a
breathtaking. It sets you back, and you're just in awe because I think you expected just this rock,
Yep.
some
Someone's
faces,
face on it.
Yeah.
but it was massive and like
a
you
mountain.
said, just so
I mean,
deep.
Yes, it is.
And also, I didn't know what to expect. So when you walk in, you instantly just have this warm feeling of patriotism, respecting America, and of course being there with your children. You're going through this walk down the states with the flags. Each state flag tells you when they were all established, each state. So
Yep.
you're just in this experience of education, patriotism, breathtaking beauty. And then doing the trail that it takes you through, and it talks about each president and what each one left to its country and how things were carved and timeline. It was really spectacular.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you know, and again, this is a little off topic, but I've talked to a lot of parents, and especially when they hear I was a teacher, that kind of are wondering if homeschool or being schooled on the road is the right thing. I mean, what you just said, there is nothing in a book. I've learned about it in a book. I've seen the pictures. There's nothing that even compares to
No.
being there and what the kids will remember. And I mean, it just doesn't even compare.
Right.
Yeah, it reminds me of a family. Our very first week that we were full time, we're sitting in a campground, and the people next to us struggling. They were in a minivan, and it was the husband and the wife and 2 kids, and the husband's in the back of the minivan working on his computer, typing away. But I'm like talking to him, what's going on there? The mom said, we have COVID, and it was right in the middle of COVID.
It was during COVID. They
And
didn't
the
have
kids,
COVID.
the kids are, doing school, and they were talking about the Grand Canyon. So I said to Bob, everybody's Bob, by the way. I don't know what her husband's name was. I just call everybody Bob. But I said to Bob, let's go to the Grand Canyon. So they literally spent that evening packing, not a lot of thought process, got in their car from South Carolina, drove all the way across the country so their kids could experience that. That is the story, or the inspirational story behind, there's so much in this country to see. There's so many things to do. It's just been spectacular. The caves that we've been to, the chocolate factories that you've been to.
Well, I think that's the beauty, is there's something for everyone.
There really is.
No matter what your desire or passions are, I think there's something for everyone.
Yes.
For me, I like military history and World War II especially. Both my grandfathers were in World War II. So to me, it kind of holds a special place. So we've got a chance. I actually made us go out of the way to Ohio to go to the National Air Force Museum there.
Really? Isn't that nice?
Amazing.
Amazing.
The
And
old, I think what was it, DC-3 is on.
yeah, I mean, to walk and see, the legendary Memphis Belle, and then,
The first Air Force. That's
Yes.
the one I think that they brought Kennedy back in.
yes,
Yes.
it was.
That's
yes.
the one that
Yes.
they brought Kennedy back in. It was
Yes.
just, again, another place I went, and the hair on the back
Yes.
of your neck
Yeah.
just stands
Oh my
up a little
gosh.
bit.
And to be there with our children, and especially our daughter, because she really appreciated these things as we were walking through, and she was reading and what how all these planes had served.
And of course, it was a little pushback getting everyone to go on our way there.
Everything's a little
But then
pushback.
once they were there, they were in awe, and the boys were playing, in simulators.
Yeah, all the simulator cockpits that they have spread out throughout the.
It was great. So there's something for everyone.
There definitely is. But that's the beauty. There's something for everyone as you travel across the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, you talk about the pushback. We were invited to go to the Reneau Air Show. And that's a place where it was special to me because my dad was a pilot, and he actually got an award there one year when I was a little kid. And I'll be honest, Patti.
I could not picture what we were going to do there for 5 days. You know, it's like, okay, the planes are cool, meeting people. I just couldn't picture it. And luckily, I just let go and said, okay, let's see what it is. Let's see. I wasn't interested in, history. But we went there, and I did go with an open mind, and we had a fantastic time. Met really amazing people, and I learned a lot about history that I didn't know, and about planes and the races and all of that. So, yeah, I think that's a great message, is keeping an open mind on the journey. Some of the crazy things that he wants to do that I'm like, well, I'm not so sure, but it's really turned out to be some cool experiences.
I will say, though, in the aviation, because we're talking about aviation a little bit, but the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, which they just had their 50th, it just was last week, I have to say that might have been one of my top 10 things in my lifetime of going and experiencing. And Patti and I had the opportunity to crew with a balloon, so we flew every single day. Patti crashed a balloon one day. It was very interesting.
Exaggerating a little bit. He's exaggerating. When you get on the plane and the pilot says it's going to be a rough landing, a moderate landing.
A moderate landing, you said.
It's not what you wanted to hear, but luckily our pilot was.
I will put a link to the short of that because we do have it on video. I'll put it right up here.
But I got to give a shout out to our pilot, who was very skilled, handled it well. His first and most important thing was to protect me.
Yeah.
He said, we are going to land, and I'm going to tell you to jump out of the basket. Because he wanted to protect me from it falling over. So I got to give a shout out to Tom. It was amazing. But
we missed you, Tommy.
Yeah, talking about aviation. Flying over the Grand Canyon in a helicopter.
Wow.
You've got to.
Yeah.
If you haven't, you've got to. That was amazing.
Now, is there something that you guys have done? We talked about Mount Rushmore, so we got to leave that off the list. That you would just strongly recommend to other RVers that are out there?
We've done a lot. I have to say, we've done a lot. I mean, we've done the Redwoods in Northern California.
Spectacular.
Unbelievable. I almost have to say that only because, like you said, there's something for everyone. For a family, that's for everyone. The kids loved Fern Canyon.
Yeah.
You're walking on logs and jumping rocks, just switchbacking like that the whole way, and it was beautiful. And of course, finding banana slugs and all the Sasquatches everywhere, the Bigfoots. That's just fun. I think it's just very special. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that is.
I still haven't gone.
She has not gone, and when we first got her, we tried because we had like 2 weeks that we were, and I tried to get there, but it just didn't work out. So we'll get there next time we get out to California, if we're allowed to go into California with this big
very true.
But that might be a conversation for another time. Yes. Rules of RV.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Has the gas prices affect how you travel?
No.
We knew going into this, in June we launched officially. We knew we were in the deep of it, and we knew we're just gonna go. And we factored, here was my theory, this is my theory. If we were in our house paying, mortgage, utilities, blah, 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 also driving to work, taking children to school, taking them to sports. We both had gas-guzzling vehicles. And also we would go usually out of town for a weekend every month, give or take. So you factor in your gas bill just with your daily life. I've been keeping track of what we're doing, and I would say we might have spent more living in a house, living a daily life in town.
And and that's something else people ask all the time, and what's interesting when you look at videos, you look at social media, and people are saying it's cheaper in a house, it's cheaper in an RV. It depends on where you came from. You said gas-guzzling cars. We lived in a 3,200 square foot house in the middle of Las Vegas. It was not cheap, and then electric there is ridiculous.
Oof.
The hot tub costs a lot of money. So overall, we're spending less, and that is a question people ask all the time. And I'm going to leave it at, it really depends.
Absolutely.
It really
It depends on what you're trying to get out of it as well. Some people want to go, and some want to do more stationary, like without this 1,000 Trails membership. It's a lifesaver for us as well. We can stay up to 3 weeks at a time. We haven't yet because we're just kind of anxious, and we hit that week and a half, 2 weeks. We're ready to go. See the next week.
Ready to go to the next spot.
What else is there?
We are. It's like, okay, we've been here long enough. We know where the market is.
Yeah.
Time to
And
go.
We've seen
I
it
have
all.
to say, that is the only good thing for 1,000 Trails members. We're talking to you right now. The Florida Shuffle in the winter, it's 14 days.
It's
You got to
14
move
days.
every 14 days. So that might be the only good thing about moving.
Yes, right. And we knew that going into Florida in December, it was a peak season. We can only get 2 weeks at a time. We knew that. That's fine because that's our speed anyhow.
Right. And it's like, it sounds like us, you kind of have to be flexible a little bit in this lifestyle. And that helps when somebody calls and says, hey, do you want to be part of a Model T Ford rally? Get to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we say yes. But also that things come up as far as reservations or changing gears. So flexibility is probably important. Right?
Very important, yes.
Now, I do have to do a disclaimer here. 1,000 Trails is one of our sponsors. However, they are not the sponsor of this video. RV Trip Wizard is the sponsor of this video. We want to thank them for everything they do. And Patti and I are now the host of the RV Life podcast that will be starting every week in November. But let's talk about RV Trip Wizard, because I know before we even met, you guys are, you drank the Kool-Aid for the RV Trip Wizard because you talked about it like a commercial.
Yeah.
Before we even knew you.
Yeah,
That's
before
right.
we even knew. So, we were slugging along for months using Google Maps, basically.
Yes.
And I think it was somewhere coming out of Indiana and somewhere in Michigan where we had too many close calls. And I said, we've got to find something that works. So we started researching, and the top pick seemed to be RV Trip Wizard every time.
Yep.
So shortly after that, purchased it and haven't looked back.
No, it's been great.
And it's been golden since then.
Yeah, I do have to say, and we just left the Hershey RV show where we did a seminar on trip planning that was sponsored by RV Trip Wizard. I literally do not move that RV unless I put it in Trip Wizard.
Yeah.
And we were actually at a campground where they made us move from your spot to our spot, from
Literally
L1 to
right next.
L2. We had to move that far, and I went and sat down at the computer, and she started yelling at me.
That wasn't necessary. But it is a whole suite of products. I don't know if you guys, every time we talk to somebody, we share something that RV Life Pro has as part of their suite of products that people didn't know about. I love the community and the campground reviews.
Yes.
Campground
Yes.
reviews.
Yeah, the reviews are
Hands
for
down.
RVers by RVers, and that I really appreciate.
And I found that they're more up to date than
Yes.
Campendium and some of the other resources we were using. And for me, since I work remotely still, internet's very important. So I use this to source and see what's the quality of the internet, where I'm trying to go. And for we were using Campendium and other sources, and the reviews were so old that it was hard to find them reliable.
Right.
Yeah, it's been my go-to since we.
And they make it so
Downloaded
easy
it.
to participate. And you click on it and it says, would you like to run a speed test and participate in the community?
Wow.
I mean, you couldn't make it any easier than
We
that.
did not pay them to say that.
No, you did not. You did
Sounds
not.
like a commercial. And we are going to put a 25% off in the link, which means this year it'll be less than $50 for the whole year. And that's what I love. It is so affordable. All these other products that you buy, this and that, you pay for these different things, ends up adding up.
Yes.
We were fortunate enough to be hanging out with the owner of RV Life and the industry liaison, Patrick Buchanan. Hi, Patrick. But more impressive than those two was they call him the product owner. So he's like the head software guy for, what was his name?
Product developer.
Yeah. Alex, I think it was, yeah. So we got to
Sorry
hang
if I
out
got
with
the
him.
name wrong.
And one of the things that he showed me that I didn't know that it did is you can actually, there's a little button on the bottom corner and you can go down and get the satellite view of where you're going. I will tell you that, I wish I knew that before because it's been there all the time. But
I did not know that either.
have you ever pulled into a grocery store or a Costco parking lot and you're like, oh dear, how am I going to get out of here? And you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it.
You just saved me some time.
Yeah.
Because
I know.
I've been flipping back to Google Maps to do the satellite.
There you go.
It's right in the system.
Amazing.
And he showed that to me. I have to tell you, just so impressed. All right, Patti, one more. What do you got? One more question for him.
We got so wrapped into that. So last question. Where do you go from here? We are in Pennsylvania. It's the end of October. It's getting chilly.
Yes.
It's time to move south.
Yes, it is. It's time to move south.
It's time to move south, but we are slowly making our way down to Florida. We're going to leave here and go to DC just for a few days and then check into Williamsburg Thousand Trails for a week so we can explore
It's beautiful there.
the triangle there, and then making our way through North Carolina, South Carolina, quick dip I think into Georgia, and then we'll be in Orlando for at least a month and a half, starting November 13th on through. We'll see.
Okay.
Now, just tell everybody, because I know that one of the big questions is Fort Wilderness worth it? Do you
Ooh.
want to do it?
That is not a Calvin.
Might have to get back to you on that, but for right now, we're going for
We're
it.
doing it.
We're doing it. This is our one. It's our one opportunity, I feel like, to do it and do it right. Most people have to take their children on a flight, from wherever, pay for food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and their hotel and everything. And we have the opportunity to stay at the Disney's Fort Wilderness campgrounds, and I've heard it's spectacular. I've heard it's its own experience within its own. Many people go there not even for the parks, but just to enjoy the campground.
Yeah.
So we're doing it. I know it's expensive, and
As she rolls her eyes.
won't lie, it is very expensive, but I will have to say that's where our Thousand Trails comes into play. It has been a lifesaver because it's buying us this opportunity
Right. So
Yes.
to spend that.
Yes.
I was going to ask and we have a different membership. What do you pay when you pull into a campground like this and you stay for 3 weeks? What do you pay when you leave?
Nothing.
She said nothing.
I don't pay.
Zero.
We did buy a used membership, and it is a VIP Elite membership. It gets us 3 weeks in. We have the 120 days booking window, which has been amazing. I'm already booking our way back west. I booked Texas already for the 1st of February, and then I'm just going to keep on building from there till we get back home, and we don't pay. So even if it isn't the most ideal campground resort,
Right.
I'm not going away disappointed at the cost, because I know that's just kind of part of what we play, that game of Thousand Trails.
Yeah.
And
Some
most,
I think you
amazing and
play
some-
that game at
Anything.
campground.
Yeah.
We paid $1,300 for a month for a campground. I won't even mention where. And it was okay. It was clean. It was okay. It was nothing to write home about. So just a little plug there. And again, because that is a big question people in the community ask all the time, or people looking to go full time. How do you afford it? And that is the way that Dan and I would not be able to do this if it weren't for Thousand Trails and being able to come into a campground and not pay every time we come. Now we do want to go to Fort Wilderness, so we're working our way up for
Yeah.
that expense.
a
But
couple of years ago, we were in Disney and we took the boat over and just walked around.
yeah, it really is.
Yes, I've heard it's so unique, and we'll be there at Christmas time. Our youngest turns 10 that week, So we told the kids, this is your birthday present and a Merry Christmas to all of us.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the dog is even getting boarded at the Disney doggy boarding place. So we're going all Disney.
Yeah, there
You're
you
going
go.
all
Dog,
in Disney. There you
even the
go.
dog.
Do they give you a choice?
Well, there's offside, but then between that, before and after, of course, we bounce around, definitely staying in Orlando at only the Thousand Trails. I think we have one state park, but aside from that, we are utilizing Thousand Trails,
Yeah.
which is affording us that whole experience. So we knew we're ruffling the kids up, we're taking them out of school, taking them away from friends, away from families. You know, it's a lot, and so this is kind of our family
Well,
gift.
Right.
And we started out years ago. We bought the camping pass just for
Right.
the West Coast.
That's how we
Yes,
started, just for
yes.
Ohio, or
Amazing.
Oregon.
and it was amazing. We used it to go up through the redwoods,
Ah.
up
Yes.
through Oregon, and back down.
Whalers Rest. Did you hit Whalers Rest?
No, and
No.
we were wondering why. I think it was probably, but we did it all very last minute.
Yeah, it was very last minute.
But we got reservations. I just kept. Here's the thing about Thousand Trails: you've got to stay on your profile and just keep trying the dates.
Yep.
Don't give up. You will get them.
Yep.
You stay on it, or you keep chatting. They're fantastic.
Yes, they are. They're very good. at
I have
helping.
gotten everything I've wanted, but you have to be proactive.
And again, Thousand Trails is a sponsor of Patty's Noise, but not for this video.
We could do a whole talk.
We
We can do a whole talk just on
Whole
Thousand
talk
Trails.
on it,
Yes.
for sure.
And our video
We did a
last
video.
week, the one directly
Yes.
in front of this
yeah.
video, was about Thousand Trails.
Yes.
So, the Campfire Conversation is dying down, so it is time to say goodnight. We are in, where are we?
Mannheim.
Mannheim.
Pennsylvania.
Manheim, Pennsylvania. And I want to thank you guys for being our guest tonight. It's really nice, and I think it's educational for other RVers to be able to just have a conversation, and hopefully we included them in our conversation tonight. So thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here.
No.
Thank you for being our neighbors. What
Yeah.
It's
what
been
great
great. It's been
neighbors.
amazing.
Thank you for helping me design and
yes.
engineer this
Yeah.
StarLink rig that we put up there. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patti Hunt, saying have a great rest of today.
And an even better day tomorrow.
Tell me why you were happy.
Because I like seeing new places and it's fun.
So the coolest place that you guys have been.
Mount Rushmore.
That is pretty cool, isn't it?
I think it's really cool to see new things that some people won't get to see.
Okay.
I spent either like 1 or 2 weeks at Lake Michigan, and I thought it was really nice there.
Let's talk about life in, and you guys have this big fifth wheel. Talk about life in a fifth wheel with two brothers. What's that like? They're not listening.
It can be very hard trying to just like go to bed at the same time, and usually the car rides can be very tricky.